Hi everyone, Ashley here and welcome to another video on the Penguin Palace Stamps YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a cute love-themed card featuring the new There's No One Like You stamp set that's part of the new Spring 2020 Penguin Palace Stamps release. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm starting by creating a simple background with ink blending. So I took my Distress Oxide ink in Shabby Shutters and an ink blending tool, and I'm just applying the ink to the outer edges of a piece of white paper. I went ahead off camera and pre-cut this paper using one of the new dies from Penguin Palace Stamps. This is their Dots Meets Dashes die set, and it comes with a number of different sizes of rectangles that cut out the rectangle shape, as well as a really cute dots and dashes pattern etched into the outer edge just around the edge of the rectangle. And it's almost like a fun stitching pattern. It's really pretty. So I'm just going around the edges of the rectangle and blending a little bit of the Shabby Shutters green on, and I wanted to leave the center of the panel open so that it's almost like a focal point for the images. So I just wanted some soft ink blending coming in from the edges, so I went all the way around the rectangle and just kind of blended the ink in softly and tried to blend it out so that it wasn't like a harsh line but more of a soft kind of blend into the middle. Once that was done, I was able to go ahead and stamp out the images. Like I said, I'm using images from the Penguin Palace Stamps There's No One Like You stamp set, and again, this is part of their new Spring 2020 release. The stamp set comes with a number of different cute little buddy images, so little teacups or a little pop can and cup and things like that, and a whole bunch of punny sentiments to go along with them that are all kind of funny and play off of the images. And I'm going to use a few of them on the card, so you'll see what I mean. So I picked a few of the images out of this set, and I'm just stamping them onto some white paper with some Copic-friendly black ink using my mini Misty stamping tool. And I'm just stamping them out a couple times, really pressing down to make sure that I get a nice, clean, crisp black image. Once that's done, I'm able to go ahead and color in the images with my Copic markers. And I'm just using a typical Copic coloring technique here, where I'm using two different shades to color in each image, so a dark and a light, and then just trying to blend them together. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video here so you can watch the coloring come together a little bit more quickly. Feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy the coloring, and I will be back when the coloring is over to finish off the rest of the card. Okay, so off camera I went ahead and cut out all of the colored in images with the coordinating die cuts that come with this set. And I sort of just arranged them onto the card front in a nice way, and I placed the coordinating sentiment along with each set of images, and you'll see what I mean here in a moment. I was then able to pick up all those sentiments with the plastic plate of the Mini Misty, and I can then ink them up, and I'm just using some VersaFine black ink here, and that's just a really nice, clean, crisp black ink that I like to use for sentiments where I don't have to color with Copics. I like to use this ink for sentiments or just things that don't require coloring because it's not a Copic friendly ink, but it is a really nice crisp black ink, so it is good for those sentiments. So now it's time to just put the rest of the components of the card together. I'm starting with a white card base, and I'm just using some liquid glue to adhere a piece of pattern paper onto the front. And this is just a grayscale hearts pattern paper that came from kind of one of those pattern paper packs that I had lying around. I then put some double-sided tape onto a piece of fun foam, and I'm just taping that onto the back of the card panel that I had inked and stamped on. And then I can just adhere that down to the front of the card, making sure to line it up really nicely so that the heart pattern is evenly shown on all sides. And the Dot Sweets Dashes pattern is actually also really good for this because you can kind of line up the dashes and dots to make sure that everything is nice and straight. So once the card panels are together, it's time to adhere these stamped images onto the front of the card. I went ahead and put a little foam square onto the back of each one, and then at one at a time I could just pull off the release paper and use my tweezers to kind of position where I want it on the card and then stick it down. So you can see each little set of images has its own coordinating sentiment. So for the mug and the froth, it says, "You are the froth to my cappuccino." And then for the Coke to the cup, it says, "You are the bubbles to my cola." And then for the two little teacups, it says, "We're a matcha made in heaven." So I love how kind of punny each of these sentiments are and how well connected they are to the images. They really all coordinate together so nicely. So I can just adhere these last two teacups down onto the card front using my tweezers to really line them up perfectly. And finally, I can finish it off by adding those little bubbles, and I'm just going to put a couple dabs of liquid glue onto the back of those so they do lie flat onto the card panel, and stick them down again using my tweezers to kind of make sure that they are lined up exactly where I want them to be. And then all of the images on the card are done. I like this card because it is on the simpler side, but all of the different images are so cute when they're placed together. As a couple of final touches onto this card, just to add a few extra special things, I placed a scattering of gems around the whole card front, and then I can just go through and use my tweezers to pick them up, and then I can just add a little dab of adhesive to each one and place it down gently so that I don't squeeze the adhesive out, but it allows you to get perfect placement every time. As a final touch of embellishment, I went and added some Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen onto a few of the different parts of each of the images. And this just adds a clear layer of sparkle onto those images. It doesn't change the color because it's clear, but it just adds a really nice layer of sparkle. And you'll see that at the end of the video when I kind of turn the card in the light, you'll see how much shimmer this pen really adds. So like I said, I'm just kind of going over some different parts of each of the little images just to give a little bit of an extra touch of detail to all of them. So I'm just finishing up by adding a little bit of sparkle to that cute little froth there. And that is it. That is the card for today. So as you can see, when I turn it in the light, you get that beautiful shimmer both from the gems as well as from the Wink of Stella, and you can see all the fun dimension that you get from popping up those little images onto foam squares. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of my cards, definitely head over to my personal Instagram account, which is linked down in the description box below, and check out the Penguin Palace Instagram account as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!